All right, you're dating a guy, right? Everything is not everything, but yeah, like, things are good. Like he's the one for you, in your opinion. You don't like the in-laws, and the in-laws don't like you. The potential in-laws, you're not married yet, but you meet his family, they don't like you. Honestly, you don't like them, but you like the guy. The guy checks all the boxes.
Oh God, that rough.
What do you do?
How often you go see these in-laws? Because sometimes you can't ignore them and move on, you know. Sometimes it's a them problem and it's not a you problem.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do think that the better relationships thrive the further away from home you both are. That's personally, I've seen it work best when you move away. So if you think about any mother-in-law drama, oftentimes they live together in a very close in the very close vicinity or in the same house or whatever. So I think it really comes down to why they don't like you. If they don't like it because they don't think you're good enough for their son, or because they think that there are some things that you want to work on, you need to work on or whatever, then maybe it's a point for you to grow as a person, right? Not the good enough part, but like the part that there are some characteristics that possibly you can work on. But if it's just because them just have a bad heart, but this person, sometimes a lot of people when they leave home, they have been re-socialized, so they're no longer like their family, and they're different. Then I don't think that's supposed to be a hindrance. It's going to cause problem, because of course children might come into play, and grandparents will have to be in part of the children's lives and stuff. But if you have to do that once or twice per year, you're not dead. So I think I honestly think that if in-laws don't like you, especially is after you're getting serious and stuff, you're like the in-laws don't like you, I don't think it should be a big deal breaker, because at the end of the day, you're not living with them and you're not marrying them. And the Bible did tell you to leave and cleave, right? So that's personally what I think, that you're not marrying them. They're not going to be there might be a part of your life, and also it will boil down to what the other person has to say. So the guy, he will now have to decide who is his allegiance to. Because if the mother is going to disrespect you and he does not put down his foot, then maybe you don't need to be with that guy in the first place. So I think it's a whole dynamic. It's really how all the roles interplay. And I do truly believe that no matter how horrible a person is, if no matter how horrible in-laws are, if they see that the person really respects you, loves you, and that they cannot disrespect you in front of that person, then I think that they might not always love you, because truth is, we're not going to like everybody have them person. We're not going to like everybody, but they will respect your household and they'll respect you. So
yeah, I think that's important.
yes,
About like how would the guy deal with the situation.
yes,
At the end of the day, if you and a guy married, you have to be his priority.
yep,
Not his mother, not his father, not his siblings, you. So
yeah.
I think that's crucial. So yeah. All right, a couple more questions. Money. Woman's making more money than the guy. Think that should be a problem if the guy feels insecure? What should he think about that? The female, should she have a problem with making more money than a guy? Talking about how you think money should play out in a relationship, in that specific thing where the female makes more money than the male.
So meaning, okay, so should the guy be upset?
Like,
Or
all right, so let me break it down. And there's something else I want to ask, because I've had this conversation kind of recently as well, sincere. But let me personalize it. If you made more, because I know females who they don't want a guy that they make more money than, right? That's a problem.
guy feel emasculated sometimes.
Or if you had a male friend who his lady makes more money than him and he feels the way about it, like how would you? What are your feelings on that? Should it matter?
I think it comes down to the fact that sometimes we think that money makes you the leader, but it doesn't. And what being And being the leader of a household means that you need to be making more money, but it doesn't. I think it really boils down to the relationship that you have with the person. I personally don't think you should feel any way about it, because if you're going to eventually get married to the person, it's going to be the union's money. It's not going to be a one person's money. So I think I have friends who female friends who they work more money than their partner. And it's not an issue, because the money is the household's money. It is the money that comes in. And when you really look at it, sometimes the man is pulling weight in other areas that she might be carrying in more money. But at the end of the day, he's doing what, if everything that he's doing should be put into coins, possibly he will be doing more anyways. So I think why it has this negative connotation is because of ego. It's because of selfishness. It's because of how we view ourselves as, oh, we're supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to be, because remember that initially, the original plan was that men were supposed to be the ones going out to work, and the women were supposed to be nurturers. So sin came into the world, and that is no longer the original plan. So the original plan has changed. Women are now in the workforce, and women are in professions that sometimes pull in more money than some of the men. But it shouldn't be a big deal. But it becomes a big deal when we're so into ourselves, and we don't really view it as a partnership. We view it as a kind of look down on. And because I look down on you, how dare you? And sometimes women use it as a power tool. So some women have been in hurtful situations where, oh, I am big bad all by myself, Miss Independent, I don't need you to talk to me. And they'll use it as a weapon on the man, and they say, oh, I pay the bills around here, or I make the money around here. It shouldn't be like that. So I think it's based on how each person deals with, how each couple deals with it. The woman should not use it as a weapon or as a tool, and the man should not feel bad about it, because at the end of the day, there's still a partnership going on.
I have some friends, I met them this year,
Mhm.
and I was in a car ride with them, and they just said something that was just wild to me. What they said was, what their understanding of a marriage is from the Bible is that, and they apply what they take from the Bible to life now in our society, and they say, if a man and a woman are married and they're both working, it's the responsibility of the man and the man only. His paycheck should take care of the household, and her money is her money.
I've heard it
For
before.
her to do whatever she wants with it, but
Yeah.
his money is responsible. And to me, that's just crazy, because it's either it's a partnership or it's not. Like,
Yeah.
it's either we're partners in everything or not. Like, we're not partners and stuff with finances. It's just me and you're over there. To me, everything is a partnership. So that's interesting to hear from them.
I've heard that before. I've also heard, and this maybe this one is the one I agree with the most, the perspective that men, if we're going to look at what the biblical role of marriage is, the men are still the providers.
Mhm,
As women, when we go out to work, we are really helping you.
mhm.
So if tomorrow we decide we no longer want to work, you should be okay with that,
Fine.
right? Because we're helping you in the household.
Mhm,
And also on the flip side, if tomorrow you decide that you don't want to help me with the nurturing of the household, I should also be okay with that.
mhm, mhm.
But at the end of, huh?
That's
Yeah,
balance.
balance, right? But at the end of the day, we know that is a partnership.
Right.
And we know that even being a housewife is ridiculously hard. I don't feel like why people don't think that staying at home and taking care of a house, taking care of children is hard work. So even if the man is going out in the field to work, I feel like a sensible man would also want to come in and help his wife too, even if she's home all day, because being home all day does not mean that you're super tired. It's really hard. So I really think that it's all about the balancing act. It's a partnership, but still we still should recognize that there are still certain things that women are called to do just because of how we're made up.
Mhm.
Naturally we are made up a certain way. We have breast milk. That is a part of how God has built us as women. And then naturally men, even when you think about how men think much more logically
Yeah.
versus a woman thinking emotionally,
Emotionally.
Men are poised to figure out the logistics of things. It's just how it works. We can argue it from any direction that we want to, but that's how I really feel it's a balancing act.
Because why I agree with that and why it's different from the perspective of those persons is, so as you said, so the male, my responsibility is to provide and so forth, and she enters for the home. But when she decides to work, she's taken away her role as nurturer and homemaker and all that is being taken from.
It's
right?
split. Yeah, she have to
Right?
give attention to that, right?
So therefore, if you are therefore not fulfilling to the greatest capability as nurturer, right? That has to be filled in by somebody or some way or somehow, right? So you deciding to work now, that can't just be for you. If you're deciding to work, then that you're stepping somewhat into my role as provider, and that has to provide, and then I have to kind of supplement as nurturer, right?
Yeah.
So if she decides, you know what, she's going to stay home and take care of the home, and I'm going to work and provide, then that's fine. But it can't be that we both have 9 to 5s, but your money is
My money.
and nah, that
And the truth is, Dale, some households run like that, and they make it work. So that's why I always say, what works for your household, then do you, boo, like make that work for you.
Absolutely.
But it might not work over here.
Nope. What do you think about couples going public? And by going public, I mean they're together for a month and then they're all in each other's profile pics and so forth.
Okay.
Now, the next part of this conversation, we're going to talk about posting your partner on social media. We're also going to talk about having a best friend of the opposite sex. Check it out right here.